Hello everyone, I am Deepak Niyal and I welcome you to the series of tutorials on C++. If you have gone through my previous lecture, you might be knowing that we studied static data members and we talked about its theory part. So you can see the properties here. Now in this tutorial, I am going to implement everything and show you all these things practically. So let's start. Here I am going to define a class student, close it with the semicolon, then put a access specifier public. Here you can create a constructor if you wish, but we don't need this constructor as of now. Then I'm going to declare a public and static data member, and I can write number of departments. After that, I can declare some private variables, and one of the private variable is static int count. You have to put a static in front of these. After that, static, and I can write university. So now I have declared these three variables: number of departments, count, and university. We can remove this constructor as of now, we don't need this. So let us create a driver program int main and try to print number of departments. So how can you access number of departments? Because this is a public variable or public data member, we have to use student, then scope resolution operator, and after that use variable name. Try to compile this program, and here you can see some error, and the error is because we have not defined these data members. So how can you define these data members? We have to write int, then name of class. Int is because we are talking about number of departments as of now, and then copy this number of departments here. You can either assign it some value or leave it. If you leave this variable, it will have a default value, and that is 0, we discussed in our previous lecture. Then after that, you can also define count variable, and it will have a default value of 0. After that, you have to write a string, then student and university. You can also assign something here, IIT, and leave it, or just put semicolon at the end and it will be a empty value, right? So now try to compile it again, and the program is compiled successfully. Try to see the output, and number of departments are 0. So now the first thing is clear to you, that value will be 0 by default. You can also give it a value, maybe 10, and then compile it again and see the output. And we have declared these variables in three access specifiers: public, private, and protected. And this thing has been discussed in previous lecture also. And we have accessed this public data member using scope resolution operator here. So do one thing, try to access private and protected using this scope resolution operator and see the difference now. So in one case we are talking about count, and in another we are talking about university. So student, then count, and then student and university, and here you will see the difference. So see the difference, university is a protected member, and similarly for this count, there is an error that count is a private member. So if you remember our previous lecture, there we discussed that we need a public member function to access these kind of variables. So I am making one function, get count, and this function is going to return count variable. Similarly, other function will be get university, and it is going to return university, right? So wherever you are trying to access it like this, you have to use get count and get university, and now you can access these variables, right? But still there is one mistake, and we'll first try to compile it and then see the mistake. Can you see what is the mistake? Call to non-static member function without an object argument. So you cannot call a non-static member function like this. We need an object for that, right? So what you have to do, you have to place static in front of this and similarly static in front of this. In previous lecture we said that we need static public member function to access these private and protected variables, right? So now compile this again, and here it is compiled successfully. Try to see the output of this, and number of departments are 10, which has been initialized here. Count is 0 because this is default value, and university is blank, this is also default value. So now make it 5000 as per our previous example or previous discussion, and make it IIT. Now compile it again and see the output, and here you go, right? So one thing that is remaining to explain is that you can access these static member without any object, and we can say that these static member exist even when there are no objects, and you can see here there are no objects and still you are able to access these, right? So I will show you one more thing. I will create two student st1 and another student st2, and will print the output of count for these two variables, and it should be 5000 in both of them, right? So just try to check the output for student 1 first. What we have to do, st1 dot get count, then provide a new line here. Similarly do it for student 2 also, and make it st2. See the output again. Count for student 1 is 5000 and count for student 2 is 5000. So let us try to make some changes here. What we can do, create a set variable for this. So make it set and accept C from above, right? Now try to make some changes here. st1 dot set count, and I'm making it 6000, right? Now see the output again, and we can pass a message here that it is after change. Compile it, and there is some warning. I am looking at the warning again. Okay, so it is about this integer thing. We don't need this, we need void here, so that is my mistake. I will compile it again, and now warning is gone. See the output. Student 1 after change it is 6000, and student 2 is also 6000. So you can see the application of static variables here. We have made changes in one object, and that has been reflected in all the objects, right? And that is the reason we use static data members. Clear? So I think this is enough for this lecture. If you have any doubt or query regarding this whole static data member or static member functions thing, you can always write in the comment, and I will try to respond as soon as possible. So see you in the next lecture. Till then, thank you so much.